This week's episode of the Big Rab Show Podcast is dedicated to the memory of the late Jeffrey Mann. I'm sure by now you've seen the announcements across social media and the outpouring of love from the bagpiping world following the news that Jeffrey had sadly passed away. Jeffrey was a guest on our show, and he was quite a regular behind the scenes here at the Big Rab Show, contacting us frequently about things and goings-on in the Western United States Pipe Band Association. He was very passionate about the music and its people. He had an infectious enthusiasm for everything he was working on, and everything was for the love of the music and its people. It resonated with us here on the Big Rab Show, and we had common goals, and he will be sorely missed by all of us here on the Big Rab Show team. We want to extend our sincerest condolences to all of Jeff's family, his friends, his bandmates, of course, and to everyone he's worked with along there at the Western United States Pipe Band Association. These accolades are too many to mention. He will be deeply missed by a lot of people in the bagpiping world, and this loss has been acutely felt all across the globe. So we wanted to start this week's pod by paying tribute to the loss of a legend, Jeffrey Mann.
The Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. Yeah, episode 472. It's difficult to believe, but those numbers keep climbing. Yeah, and the title of this week's episode kind of gives it away, who we're going to be chatting to in this week's topic of the week. Yeah, but we'll get into that later. So, yes, the introduction of this week's podcast. The news that has rocked the bagpiping world of the loss of Jeff Mann really, I don't know, it's been quite profound for a lot of people listening right now. So again, we couldn't start the podcast any other way. As we say, Jeff was a regular in our back room, messaging away, plenty of Zoom calls as well. I was quite fond of those. Emails aplenty. He was an incredibly passionate man who, once he got the bit between his teeth with a project, then he was so enthusiastic, and it was just fantastic. Jeff's work and accolades is quite a list. You can see the articles in that have been published online for all of his work and efforts over the years. And we are forever grateful. So for all of you who are feeling this loss right now, again, we want to send out our sincerest condolences to all of you who are listening to this pod right now and are perhaps feeling it. Just to know that ourselves here in the Big Rab Show team are right there with you. And if you do want to reach out to us, of course, you can email us, bigrabshow@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you. And of course, we'll chat away about memories of Jeff and his work. So again, we want to send sincerest condolences to everyone there at the Western United States Pipe Band Association, all of Jeff's family, friends, bandmates, colleagues. Yeah, condolences to everyone. So I'm sure that if Jeff would have been listening this week, he would have wanted us business as usual. So let's get back to it. And with each and every Big Rab Show podcast, we do our introductions. So let's get back to it. If this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, well, welcome. How you doing? We are the show for the bagpiping folk, and we reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or our bread and butter, competitive piping and drumming. We're here every week, talking about what we know and love to be the music of the great Highland bagpipe and its people, like we mentioned. Yeah. And like every other show out there, we do have a Patreon. Yeah, that's that opportunity to shamelessly plug a Patreon that every podcast does. But yeah, there is a link in your show notes right now. And again, huge shout out to our Patreon faithful. Thank you, everyone who has clicked on support. And as a result, you have managed to get your hands on all sorts of juicy extras. Yeah, we've had episodes of Big Rab Show Plus over there. We've had our weekly Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show that goes out every week. You can download that and listen to it anytime. And also there's been exclusive interviews, performances, video clips, all sorts of stuff is back there on Patreon. So if you do want to, go ahead, click on the link and help support your favourite wee piping podcast to keep the wheels turning. There you go. Right, now, as we mentioned, each and every Big Rab Show, we do open the doors to listener mail. And this week is no different. Yes, we got plenty of listener mail for bagpipers all around the world who are out and about piping in haggises all across. And we've done our best to kind of share out those celebrations as we found them on socials so everyone else can enjoy the playing and all the action. If anything, I was out at Many's a Burn Supper myself over the course of the past weekend, and I didn't really do an awful lot of playing, no piping, but I'd done plenty of eating, so I did. But yeah, a good time was had. And yeah, shout out to the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band who hosted a burn supper in Castledawson in their own practice space. And it was just a pleasure to join them that evening. So yeah, I was there. I was kind of go up there doing the toast to the immortal memory and all that kind of stuff. Very enjoyable night and a great feed as well. So a lot of great piping action as well. Thanks to Graham Sterling. Yeah, a lot to enjoy there. If you are curious as to what happened at that night, there are videos of the full evening available up there on the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band social media. There you are. Just wanted to give them a shout because that was such a great night. There you are. Right, so as for listener mail, well, the majority of it, I say, was all Burns related because we are in the middle of Burns season, I guess. The rest of it was all asking questions about concerts. Yeah, people trying to get tickets for the Kids with Cancer charity night. That's a thing. Plus, we had all sorts of queries about the Aberdeen concert with Boghall, so hopefully sent people the right direction for that one. And a ton of questions of people asking about the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall pre-Worlds concert this year. Tons of rumours about it aplenty. And it seems to be every man on their horse has a bit of a bet on. It hasn't really been formally announced anywhere yet. So we are waiting on that outcome. But it seems to be... the piping world is filled with rumours as to who it will be. Now, if all the rumours are to be believed, I'm looking forward to it, if that's the case. And I'm not going to tell you which rumour I'm paying attention to, but there are a few that are actually tangible. Now, there are some out there that are probably complete nonsense, but there are those out there you can go, I could see that happening. So I guess, folks, no news is good news right now. We know that we are waiting on an announcement for the pre-Worlds concert, and once that drops, then absolutely we'll let you folks know here on the pod, of course. But for now, don't pay attention to the rumour, but you can pretty much guarantee that if you do buy a ticket for it, absolutely you're going to be in for a great show, for sure. But I'm excited for the rumours, if they're true. That's all I'm going to say. But thank you for emailing them in. bigrabshow@gmail.com. So that's pretty much it for listener mail this week. We didn't really get much else, to be honest. A quiet week all round. People just very busy with Burns season and all of that. Right, let's open the door to our next favourite feature on the show here. Weekly Drone, which is an open microphone to the bagpiping world where you can air your graces, completely warts and all, completely anonymous as well, which is the beauty of it. Yeah. No fear of recrimination or possible... backlash on you or your pipe band. Yeah, it's an open mic, so let us have it. Go to the website, thebigrabshow.com, the big button at the top of the page that says Weekly Drone, and you can tell us your story. All right, JD, I believe we have one. Can you tell us what's this week's Weekly Drone?
The Weekly Drone.
Tenors do not get the respect they deserve. As a side drummer who has recently tried out tenor drumming for a bit of fun, I now strongly believe that tenors don't get the recognition and respect that they deserve. Yeah, the flourishes are cool and all that, but the actual skill it takes to be locked in with the other tenors whilst listening to both the pipes and snares with two different ears makes them more of an ensemble expert in their own right. The debate about what ensemble is? Ask a tenor, as that's their bread and butter.
Do you know, I'm letting the music play it just when I'm thinking about that. That is a fair point. Do you know, I was a tenor drummer myself in my very early days, and I think even Rab and I talked about it in the ensemble episode. Whenever I chatted to Rab Matheson all about this, tenor drums are vitally important, and I agree. They absolutely are the unsung heroes. Yeah, I don't believe tenor drumming gets enough credit. You know, people just think, they're just flailing their arms around the place, and they make things look pretty, you know, with all of that coordination and all, you know, coordinated flourishes do look cool. I agree, but they don't get half the credit they deserve for the drumming that they're doing. Now, for instance, I play tenor, and I have experience of standing there for an entire part of a reel, and I had one note in the entire part. But if I missed it, though, the entire band noticed it because it was vitally important that it was there. But yeah, that's one of the things. And, you know, you could be standing there daydreaming, enjoying the music perhaps, and just zone out for a little bit and completely miss it. The concentration that is required for tenor drumming, especially now in the modern day, is just another level. Now, I have to say, whenever I was playing tenor drum, it was in the 80s, okay? Now, tenor drumming has come on leaps and bounds from back then, you know? So, if your band had tenor drums back in the 80s, you were seen as, wow, hey, who are these extra people? Yeah, tenor drumming wasn't really a huge thing back then, but it definitely did see a resurgence, or, an uprising, I guess. Is that the wrong word? Probably is. But yeah, things with tenor drumming just got better and better with every year. And I would argue that is still the case. It is absolutely still happening. You know, but the Big Rab Show Awards are testament to that. We do have, you know, a Best Flourishing Award and all of that. But perhaps we should change it from Best Flourishing to Best Tenor Corps, because it's not all about the flourishing. Perhaps it could also be about the actual technicality of the drumming. And that's a different aspect altogether, isn't it? But yes, very interesting weekly drone. Thank you for sending that in. And there's not many snare drummers, I would say, who decide to lift the tenor mallets. Most times, it's the other way around. You would find a lot of tenor drummers graduating or stepping over into the snare line. That's what I did. I'm sure a lot of people have the same story. However, there's a lot of tenor drummers I know that take their hand to bagpiping. Yeah, apparently the transition from tenor to pipe is actually easier than snare. I don't know, that's arguable. But an interesting one, all the same. But yes, I think next time we're going to be talking about ensemble. The snare line is one thing. Bass line, absolutely, that's another. And the tenor line is another consideration, because they are the glue in the sandwich, arguably. Yeah. That's an interesting one, Weekly Droner. Thank you for sending that in. And of course, you can send in your own Weekly Drone. Yeah, head to the website. Now, JD, I think we have time for one more before we get into all the news and updates. So go on, let us have it. Give us one more.
It's the Weekly Drone. Big Rab Store. Rab? No purple?
Is that it? No purple. Yes, I think, well, for those of you who have visited the Big Rab Show store, all right, you can go to the website, thebigrabshow.com. We have started selling merchandise again. Now, it's been a long time since we've sold Rab Show merch. I mean, a long time. I think it was shortly after episode 100 we stopped. And here we are now, we're 400 plus. So we're selling merch again. But yes, purple. A lot of people were asking about this. They wanted the purple hoodies, the purple t-shirts that people see us wearing at competitions. Well, yeah, ourselves and the Big Rab Show team, that's a color that's unique to team members. Yeah, now, we deliberately chose that color because it stands out in a crowd. Yeah, short of wearing, I don't know, fluorescent yellow or something, something that glows in the dark, like a high-vis jacket or something. But yeah, we chose the color purple because it's quite unusual to see someone donned in a full purple hoodie in the wild. So yeah, we wear those colors to stand out. And the reason we do that is so officials and stewards and everyone involved in the organization of a competition can easily pick us out. Yeah. We've had difficulties in the past where they weren't able to identify, were we a team member, were we not? And we had all sorts of altercations as a result. Anyway, you don't need to know the full story. It's to clearly mark each team member as a Rab Show team member with wearing the purples, as we call them. Yeah. So unfortunately, they're not available for sale online on our store yet. We may well change that. If there is high enough demand for the purple stuff, then yeah, we may well bring the purple hoods and t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. We'll bring the purples to the site. You never know. But there's still plenty more to enjoy over there, I have to say. And right now, we are still offering free shipping, regardless of where you live. So you could be living internationally in Canada, the US, Australia, New Zealand, and free shipping. There you go. So yes, if anything, we had an order from Australia whenever the store launched, and the price of shipping kind of equaled the price of production. So that was the thing. Shipping to Australia is not fun, but we'll do it. We'll do it. So yeah, go and check it out. Thebigrabshow.com, big button at the top. That's just below Weekly Drone, and it says shop. Very simple. And yeah, go and check out all the sweet Rab Show merch. No purple stuff for now, but you never know what comes down the road. There you go. All right. Well, that's it for Weekly Drone. I think we'll leave it there. But if you do want to send in your own, of course, visit the website, thebigrabshow.com. As I say, that big button at the top, you can't miss it. It says Weekly Drone. Let us know your thoughts and feelings on everything that we're about to discuss or haven't yet discussed here on the podcast. And let us know your thoughts and feelings and what's going on in the piping scene. And we'll bring that to a future episode. All right, folks. I think at this point, I'm going to take myself a little break. And we're going to get into everything with all of the news and updates. I'll be right back after this. Ever wish you had a piping teacher on call 24/7? Well, now you do. Introducing the Interactive Player, a game-changing new practice tool at Dojo University. Play along with world champion pipers while the notes on your sheet music light up in time. Loop tricky phrases, slow down tough sections, zoom in to focus, and build speed automatically. It's like having a teacher right in your practice room, showing you how to master every tune at your own pace. So, sign up for a free trial today at pipersdojo.com and start learning smarter with Dojo U's Interactive Player.
Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk.
Okay, time for all the news and updates. And shout out to our sponsors, by the way. Yeah, thank you for keeping the wheels turning here, folks. Appreciate it. All right, so the first news story of the day, I have to give a mention to the Vale of Atholl Pipe Band. Now, I'm not talking about Live and Well and all of that shenanigans that happened there at the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall, but we will get into that. There is a story there that we need to tell. The reason I'm mentioning them, of course, is because of their junior competition. This was their 50th junior competition that was held this past weekend. And the entries across the board, as we mentioned in last week's podcast, was just huge. This event seems to get larger and larger every year. And it's brilliant to see piping in such a healthy place right now. So, full credit to the Vale of Atholl Pipe Band on their 50th junior solo piping competition. This was just a roaring success. Now, the full results are now published. You can go and visit the Vale of Atholl Pipe Band on their socials. Full listings of all the winners and all of that is up there now. I'm not going to sit here and read a full hashtag list. you can go and check it out. There's a serious amount of silverware that's been picked up over the course of the weekend. So just well done to everyone involved there. Just a stellar event all around. Full credit to the Vale, and looking forward to the 51st one now at this point. Yeah. Also wanted to mention, shout out to the Glasgow and West of Scotland branch of the RSPBA, who hosted the Graham Johnson Memorial Juvenile Solo Piping Competition. And again, the wealth of talent on offer here was just brilliant. We've seen little video clips and little kind of sneaky peeks of stuff that happened at the event. We haven't seen full runs of full grades, but it does give you a bit of a flavour as to just the standard on offer here. Just fantastic. And hey, full credit to all the sponsors of the event as well that donated prizes. Shout out to Lincoln Hilton, Wallace Bagpipes, March of 5, of course. They donated a pretty sweet strike bagpipe case. Yeah, nice. Also the National Piping Centre, McCallum Bagpipes and others who sponsored the event to help make it possible. So yeah, well done to everyone involved, and to all of the prize winners, congrats. And to everyone who didn't lift prizes, hey, there's always next time. But yeah, such fantastic work. So full credit to Glasgow and the West of Scotland branch who ran quite a fantastic event there. Brilliant. Okay, going to give another shameless plug. Now, I know we've already mentioned them already, but I have to give a mention to the Piper's Dojo. For those of you who aren't following them on their social media, you're really missing a trick at the moment. They're uploading all sorts of professionally cut videos from Winter Storm, specifically from their concert. Yeah, from the alumni. And I have been, glued to all of this. I think that's the word I want to use. But I've been watching each video in turn and then winding it back and playing it again. It's just been so much fun watching all of this. You know, I watched the concert as it happened on the live stream, and then I watched back to the live stream. But to see these videos that are really well produced with, professional cuts and audio, so good. So, yeah, I know we've already mentioned them and give them a shout out, but yeah, fair play to Andrew Douglas and everyone there at the Piper's Dojo. Yeah, this is fantastic work. So I'm a sucker for production value. If you haven't seen these videos yet, please do. Go and check them out. Go and check out the Piper's Dojo on social media. And the videos that they're producing from Winter Storm are just amazing. Yeah. Okay, well, I did mention that there is a bit of a news story from the Live and Well concert. Yeah, that we managed to chat about a while ago. And the reaction from that show in the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall at Celtic Connections is still being talked about today. People are still buzzing about it. Yeah, it absolutely was a huge moment in time, and we stressed that on the podcast when we talked about it. But the buzz is still happening. And everyone's talking about it and what the repercussions could be and what does the future hold for piping now that this has happened. Yeah. Well, if anything, I took opportunity myself to catch up with folks who were from Northern Ireland, of course, and were on stage at the show. This was such a huge moment to step out on the stage and thump out some big tunes for Live and Well at 30. It was a huge moment. So I managed to take a bit of time to catch up with everyone and hear their story and what it meant to them. So let's welcome them to the podcast. So you might have heard us talking about this a week or so ago now. Live and Well at 30 was such a special night. And I have joining me some folks who were on the stage that night. And if anything, I'm going to be very biased here, but this is a Northern Ireland contingent. All from Northern Ireland who were on stage that special night. So joining me is Scott Wallace, Lindsay Nichol, and Andrew Carlisle and John Greenlees. How you doing, folks? As well?
Good, thanks.
Good, thank you.
Good. Well, first of all, Scott, I'm going to throw it to you, mate. Obviously, this was a very special night for the audience, but what was it like being on stage for this show?
Pretty incredible with the level of players that was on stage. It was a pretty special event to be involved in. You know, it was an honour to be even considered to be one of the guys on stage. And one thing that I've done a few concerts on that stage before, and one thing personally that I found was just how relaxed it was and how cool everybody was about being there, and there wasn't really a whole big fuss made, or it was just get yourself on stage, get your pipes up and play. You know, it was pretty easy going. That wasn't too frantic then. No panicking, running about, setting chanters and stuff. None of that. No, none of that at all. It all kind of looked after itself. You know, I guess that was a kudos to the quality of player that was there. Everybody came with their pipes going and knew the music, and it was pretty easy setup. Like,
there you go, just hit the ground running. So, Jonathan, can I ask yourself then about rehearsals and everything? We've seen like tons of little clips and stuff, like little teasers and all of that. Were you involved in the kind of build up towards all of this? How did that go?
We were involved in the final practice, I guess, Lindsay and I, on the drones. This was Sunday before the concert. So we went along to the Legion Hall, just around the corner from the house here, actually. Mm-hmm. And as Scott says, everybody turned up. The sound was essentially there. And, Ross Harvey and Ian and a few others were sort of adjusting chanters here and there, but it was essentially there. But just to reinforce what Scott said there about how relaxed it was, I think most of us around this table are FM. FM come from an FM background, and Lindsay and I were on the drones, and we went through. The practice finished, and Ian Duncan said to the guys, "Oh, by the way, we're meeting at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, and if you're a wee bit late, don't worry about it." And Lindsay and I just looked at each other across the room because I think all of us sitting around here, that's the very last thing that would ever come out of Richard's mouth. So it was really, really relaxed, and I think that added to the how the music came across, because everybody knew the stuff. There were very, very few mistakes. It wasn't very, from a playing point, it wasn't playing obviously, but from the player's point of view, it wasn't pressurized at all. So you turned up, you knew the stuff for your pipes going, you got your pipes tuned, you got your drones tuned, and you just stood there on the stage and played. I mean, it was pretty. I mean, that's really how relaxed it was.
Yeah. It sounds almost effortless, is what I'm hearing. So, Lindsay, I guess you didn't have much to do then on the show. Just tweak a drone or two.
Exactly. And I think when you're working with that caliber of player, like every player there, really experienced, know their pipes, know what they're doing, then the job's half done. Yeah. So really for Johnny and I, it was just a case of dealing with temperature differences, making sure players' moisture levels and stuff like that, and just keeping the drones kind of at a constant. And again, it kind of helps when you've got really top quality players and good pipes.
There you go. Yeah. So tell us about the concert hall, because it's quite a unique venue for bagpipers who have seen the concert hall. It's a huge big stage, massive auditorium, but then backstage it's kind of like a bit of a maze, isn't it?
Yeah, the same can't be said for the tuning rooms. I guess concert halls aren't designed for pipe bands, but it would be helpful if they had sort of big kind of function suite type tune-up rooms, particularly if you've got pipe bands and those sorts of venues. But yeah, it was quite small, low ceilings, backstage, you've got a bit of a distance to get up onto stage. So again, just all of that adds to the challenges of keeping pipes in tune. I think one of the things we were all commenting on, and all the players on the stage, was that anyone that's done the concert hall, they always find for that first set when the band gets on stage, it takes a good set for the drones to settle. But again, I think the guys kind of managed that really well, and the sound held throughout. There was very little for us to do, but I think it's a really good stage to play on, and the audience were fantastic as well on the day.
There you go. I was going to talk about the audience reaction. Andrew, being up on stage and hearing that cheer you guys got following that first set, that kind of set the bar for the whole show. How did you find the crowd reaction to the whole thing?
Yeah, the crowd were great, and that first set is such an iconic kind of piece, El Paco Grande, by Roddy McDonald. I mean, the tune itself, and I mean, the Veil were doing things 30 years ago that, were way ahead of their time. I remember all these people running around a couple of years ago at one of the majors. Did you hear Inverary? They cut their chanters out. Well, the Veil were doing that 30 years ago in that piece, so it just shows you how ahead of their kind of time they were, and, how innovative Ian and Gordon Duncan were. But yeah, it was a great, terrific experience to be on stage. I only got in on the Thursday night before. So I met up with Ian and Stuart Little and a couple of other pipers just on the Friday afternoon in the piping centre in one of the rooms downstairs. And we ran through the tunes, and yeah, what was pretty evident was everyone had, learned all the tunes, or they'd listened to the CD that many times that they knew them off by heart. That was partly my kind of case. And and it's such a great album that we all grew up with, and it was great to play it on stage and to be surrounded with so many great players, and also as a personal point of view to be on stage again with these guys again. It was a great experience all around, I think.
Yeah, a very cool moment, absolutely. I have to ask then, I don't know, looking across the stage and seeing Pipe Major Ian Duncan there, that was goosebump stuff even before you struck in. Can anyone tell me about seeing Ian in action, and then I don't know, backstage, on stage, off stage afterwards with a few Ribena? How did it go?
Well, Johnny,
Ian's kind of part of the reason why it was so relaxed. Like for anybody that knows Ian, Ian's like a fun-loving guy, and he doesn't take life too seriously. He's had a few bumps along the road in his life, and he kind of just takes each day as it comes, and it's really evident whenever you get up on stage and play with him. It was an absolute career highlight of mine to play on stage with him, because in reality, the Vale of Atholl, that Live and Well CD, that was the kind of first grade one pipe band that I ever actually heard. I'd not long started to play whenever that album had maybe been out like 3 years whenever I started to play, and going to the band practice, the Drumlock pipe band practice, you'd Lexi Burrows and Stevie Burrows in the front, and the tape deck was on with the Live and Well album playing, and I remember at that time, whenever I was just learning, going, I want to do that, 30 years later, here I am standing on stage with the guy that made it happen, or one of the guys that made it happen. It was pretty awesome, like he said.
That's it. It's almost a full circle moment there, Scott. Yeah.
100%. He's an absolute legend of the game, like for anybody that knows anything about piping,
Yeah, for sure. And we were talking about a lot of the musical gambles that they took, Andrew, like you were mentioning there, the chanter chokes and everything. The Vale were a band that definitely pushed envelopes back then. And it's difficult to believe it's 30 years on from that.
Yeah, for sure. And what's interesting is when they were doing some of these things, and some of the tracks in that album, like one in particular, the Bulgarian set that has Elav the Terrible at the end, that's probably one of the most difficult tunes I've ever had to learn. That's an absolute nightmare of a tune for anybody to try and play. And, they were doing this 30 plus years ago, so it shows you how kind of innovative they were. And when some of that stuff came out, some of the older judges and some of the more traditionalists were maybe not too keen on some of the more innovative stuff. But if you look at it now, it's proven that it's held the test of time. That the concert hall was full, and you had, 2,000 people cheering and shouting over this stuff. So it just shows you that, these compositions by the likes of Gordon Duncan, Roddy McDonald, and many others, all stand up today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's also worth mentioning, Rob, that, looking back, and I mean, all of us have been in the FM for quite a while, and I think probably Gordon Duncan and R.S. McDonald, we've played probably more of their material over the years than any other composer I can think of. And again, just harking back to what Andrew says, I mean, that's testament to the quality of the music. The quality, like the music stands the test of time. Yeah. It's evergreen, really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Before you move on, Rob, just to chip into that point as well, like I spoke to a couple of guys after the show that were in the audience, and the way they put it to me was, because it was a 30 years on show, it was a case of like, it could have been boring because the music was 30 years old, but not at one point throughout that show were they bored at all. It could have been a pre-Worlds concert, no problem. It was that entertaining.
Yeah,
so that just further reaffirms the point of how good the music, and as Johnny says, the quality of the music stands up even to this day. Like.
does, absolutely. And it drew a lot of attention. I'm going to say that. This happened whenever the 78th brought back their Live in Ireland. A lot of people were looking back to that music from that era. And the Veil absolutely stand up from that era also. So, Lindsay, do you think this is something that perhaps bands, folk, and musicians themselves, looking back through all this old stuff, should they do it more frequently, do you think?
I think nostalgia is always a nice thing to kind of celebrate as well. Absolutely. And it pulls on the heartstrings a bit, and certainly it'll sell tickets. I mean, I know the guys have already mentioned it, but I think the Veil CD, my brother Chris and I, that was, it was worn out, the CD, playing it in the car. My parents probably could play the tunes themselves, but they might we'd listen to that, and the likes of Master Blaster by Vic Police, Live in Carnegie Hall, SFU, they were like the kind of the CDs that you grew up with, and just that opening track, El Paco Grande, everyone knew it. It's just instantly recognizable. Yeah. So absolutely. And I think today, when you're in pipe bands and kind of year in, year out, a lot of the medleys do start to sound the same. So it is really nice to kind of bring something back that although it's 30 years old, it's fresh, it's something a bit different to kind of, I guess, pipe bands will kind of go through a trends in music, and every pipe band follows that trend. So it's really nice to break out of that every once in a while, and quite refreshing.
There you go. Absolutely.
And Rob, for those of us that are a little bit older, I mean, I remember back in the late 80s, the Seven Towers, McLeodstown, the Green Memorial used to bring a lot of these bands over, and I feel like we're over twice.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I remember listening to Gordon Duncan playing whenever his bass drone might have stopped. But it was, I mean, you just, at that point, you had never heard anything like that in your life before.
That was those shows in County Hall. Isn't that right, in Ballymena? I remember being at one of those. Yeah. That was huge moments for sure. Yeah, bringing all of that amazing music to an Northern Irish audience that has inspired generations, and with you guys on stage,
I think it's quite an important thing to do in terms of these kind of things like the Veil, SFU, these kind of elder statesmen of the piping world, because it's a generational thing, and this kind of music that kind of shaped our generation, we need to make sure we need to be the custodians of that and make sure that like the next generation comes up is aware that this went on before them.
Absolutely, yeah. If anything, I'm going to throw myself under the bus now. I was chatting to someone who is, I swear they're a Field Marshal fan through and through. Everett, they love Field Marshal. And I was talking to them, have you listened to Debut? And they hadn't. I was come on. Call yourself a Field Marshal fan? Debut was mine, in my rotation list, along with Vicky Police, The Veil, 70th. That was one of those. So, I don't know. I'm just going to plant a little acorn. Perhaps if any FM fans are listening, can we have a Debut revisited? Who knows?
We're probably playing on that one, Johnny, were you?
Not quite that old.
I think you'll have to wait to another few years. Will be the 40th anniversary of that one, I think.
There you go, yeah. That's it.
The next one along will be coming up, though, with the FM Live one. That'll be 30 in a couple of years, I think.
Yeah, funny, I was thinking that too. Yeah.
I did play on that concert right enough now. I'm showing my age.
There you go. Yep.
I wasn't quite on that one. Yeah.
96, I think that was, Andy.
Oh, that's this year then, yeah.
Oh, it is this year? Hi. If anyone's listening, again, I'm just planting little seeds and I'm stepping away. There you go. Grant. Well, I'm going to go around the room and then just kind of give some final thoughts then. Scott, you've talked about how important this was for you, mate. But what was your overall feeling then, stepping off the stage and wrapping everything up out in the foyer? How did you feel?
There was probably a bit of relief in there. that it went over without any hitches. But a highlight for me actually was coming. Like it was. This wasn't planned, but whenever we'd done the foyer thing, the Stuart struck up and started playing that Mexican hat dance, and then we'd done the Galician jigs, and
right, yeah.
There was a couple of us just joined in, and I think it ended up in Ben Duncan, myself, Callum Kay, Stuart, and then a couple of the old Veil guys came in and joined in that were in the audience, and that was awesome. That was
seen that, yeah.
That was really, really cool. And the crowd, you couldn't get anywhere near us with the crowd and stuff, and that was that kind of put an official this was fun stamp right on the end of the show, And then after that, a couple of beers with the crew down the stairs, just kind of for want of a better word, loosening the belt buckle of what was a pretty special event,
There you go. Yeah. Andrew, any final thoughts yourself, sir, on the whole experience of Live and Well?
It was one of the highlights and one of the most fun things I've ever done in pipe bands. I was also involved with the 78th one a few years ago, and it was great, along with Johnny. A fantastic experience, and I think it says it all that I flew over from Pittsburgh just to do this concert, for a weekend. So that's how much it kind of excited me to go and do it. And it was at during Piping Live last year. Ian was helping me out a little bit with the university band I'd brought over to compete at the Worlds in our rehearsals, tuning the drones and all that. And I guess this was a little bit of a thank you, Ian, for helping me out with that kind of thing. All these conversations usually start in the pub, and no different with this one, So it was an absolute pleasure to be a part of it. And the other thing I got my pipes going pretty well for this concert, and they survived the course and all of that. And they got well and truly blown in the pub afterwards. I think every single member that was on that stage, I think were playing them in the pub at some point after the concert. So the reed's well and truly blown in by now.
Excellent. Yeah, there you go. So, Jonathan, what about yourself, mate? Then being a part of things, how did you find it?
Well, just to come back to what Andrew said about the 78th, and Ian Duncan was a part of that as well. I think to be in amongst and legends, like pipe band legends, in a non-competition environment, it puts a completely different complexion on things. There's people who are standing beside each other that are normally sort of, for want of an expression, at each other's throats on the day of a competition.
Yeah.
So that certainly was a highlight. Obviously, along with the musical content is astounding. The music that Vila produced over the years, and I've even gone back into those late 80s, early 90s concerts, and finally, I suppose, the crack. You're amongst friends, and there's no real rivalry, so. It's a completely different feeling than turning up to a pipe band competition and standing there with the FM, for example, or Inverary or whoever. It's just completely different.
Yeah, just a completely different dynamic where you're not competing against your mates. You're actually just playing tunes with them and having the crack. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So, Lindsay, what about yourself then? Any final thoughts?
Oh, I just think it was really uplifting and just like really filled your, lifted your spirits and full of joy. I think the Duncan family, Ian, Chris, Tina, Alex's twin sister, and then Ian's daughter Shan and their granddaughter Sophie, were all on stage on the day as well. And so just such a fantastic thing to see everyone come together for them, because they've done so much for the piping world, and even the not just Ian in terms of what he's done for pipe bands, but what they're all collectively doing through the Gordon Duncan Memorial Trust as well for, such an important benefactor to Scottish traditional music. I think I was looking up online before this actually, and they've given out grants of about up to £150,000 to young musicians and organisations and events. So they're so important to the piping system as a whole. So it was really nice to see so many, like a who's who of piping and drumming come together to celebrate them, which I think for me that was kind of my key takeaway from the whole event.
Absolutely.
Sorry, can I just jump in there
sure.
To further back up what Lindsay says as well? Is everybody on stage done that, like there was no profit for any of us whatsoever. Like Andrew says, he flew out from Pittsburgh from his own pocket. I flew in from Belfast out of my own pocket, and nobody took any fees or anything, but all the money that was raised from that concert went to the Gordon Duncan Memorial Trust and Ailey McLeod's Memorial Trust as well. So
that's right. Yeah,
as Lindsay says, they're absolute. That's like they're so precious to have those two trusts because they continue the growth of young traditional music.
Absolutely. Two very worthy causes. Yeah. And I know we mentioned them on the show, and I know good people listening actually passed on some donations as well as a result. So thank you everyone for listening and for passing that on. Folks, well, from my perspective, thank you for all flying the flag of Northern Ireland over there in sunny Scotland and having the best crack, because I think it's been enjoyed universally by the piping scene. I haven't heard one negative comment, and that's really unusual for the piping world. Let's be fair. It's been so positive, and hey, what a moment. And to be involved in it, just congratulations and thank you to you all. Thanks for joining us on the show this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.
Cheers, Rab.
Okay, thank you.
There you are. Fantastic. And hey, thank you to everyone for taking time to chat with me, and just reminisce about quite a special moment. And remember what I said in the introduction? I do believe, honestly, that this will have ripples throughout the piping scene now, where we will spend time looking back over some archived music that would normally not see the light of day. But, who knows what we're going to hear in the circle this season? Are we going to have more reminiscing going on? More nostalgia? Or are we going to be at the spearhead of cutting-edge bagpiping? Who knows? Yeah, but it leaves it up for speculation. But a moment like that with Live and Well, that is absolutely a moment in history right there. And full credit to those folks for, again, taking time to talk to us and telling us about their experience. Again, a massive thank you. There you are. Right, well, keeping things from a Northern Irish perspective, I just wanted to give a mention to the Royal Scottish Pipe Band Northern Ireland branch, who've been furiously busy this last while. Have you seen what they've been doing on their socials? Yeah, this has created a bit of a stir and a bit of conversation around dinner tables recently. Yeah, they've been doing what they call a throwback. Yeah, they've been uploading photographs and stuff of past decades, and it's so fascinating to see. Like, there's bands in there that I haven't seen for years. Like, there was photographs of October, Old St. Lawrence O'Toole, McNeilstown. Oh, come on. The amount of bands that were in the, some of those photographs were just epic, and a lot of familiar faces, and some that are still playing and some that aren't, and you're wondering, where are they now? Just a lot of great content over there on the Northern Ireland branches page. So just wanted to give them a shout out. Also, speaking of their socials, just today, at the point of me recording this, they put out the announcements that the entries are now open for the UK Solo Drumming Championships. Now, it's going to be held on the 17th of April in Cookstown High School. So if you do want to compete at the UK Solos, get your entry forms in now. Yeah. So for full details, including the closing dates for your entries, that is all going to be available on their website. Just follow all the links and everything for the UK Solo Drumming Championships. But there you go. That's just around the corner. 17th of April won't be long in coming around. So, yeah, the UK Solo Drumming Championships entries are available now. There you are. So, on the topic of old photographs and stuff, I know I digressed there for a minute, but yeah, we've spoke about how the RSPBA Northern Ireland branch are celebrating 75 years in the business, and they're going to throw a massive big gala evening, celebrating all of that. Well, they're now throwing it out there to the piping public, asking if you have any old pipe band photos to send them in. There you go. They say that every photo helps tell their story. Yeah, so if you are interested, you can email them. You can email them through rspbani75@rspbani.org. There you go. Or there's links and everything to a SharePoint site. Yeah, where you can just send your photographs that way. But yeah, shout out to the Northern Ireland branch. They're just doing a lot of great work on social media this last while. It's just absolutely stellar, especially the throwbacks that they're doing. Oh, so good. So good. All right, let's move on. I wanted to give a mention this week to the Macmillan United Pipe Band. Yes, who are going to be celebrating 25 years in the business with a huge Silver Jubilee concert. Yes, this is going to be held on the 31st of January, so just a few days from now, and at the Black Rock Centre for Arts in Germantown, Maryland. There you are. So if you are wanting to help celebrate and to help raise some funds for the band as well, you can go along to the blackrockcentre.org for all of your ticket information. It's all happening on Saturday 31st. Doors open at 7 p.m. And you're going to be treated to all sorts of amazing music from the Macmillan Pipe Band. There you are. Also want to mention that Methil and District Pipe Band are looking for new drummers. Yes, they put an advertisement out on their socials saying that if you're looking for a challenge and wanting to compete in grade 3 level, well, they're interested to hear from you. They're looking for 2 or 3 snare drummers and 1 or 2 tenors as well to help fill the ranks. So if you fancy a challenge with Methil and District, then now's your opportunity. So contact them on their socials and, go and take your sticks and pad to band practice. And, look forward to some tunes from Methylene District, Yes, well, this past week we got an announcement also from the Army School of Music, who were happy to announce about the well-anticipated return of the Inch Dur solo drumming competition. Yes, this is all to take place on the 18th of April. I don't know, this is so exciting. The last time we covered this competition from Edinburgh, it was, an absolute success. And for all age groups involved, it was just brilliant. So there are, as I say, age groups for under 13, 15, under 18, and then they had the adult grade, of course, for MSR, hornpipe, jig. So for more information, of course, you can go and check it out on the Army School of Music's socials. But the Inch Dur competition is back again, and it's happening on the 18th of April at Inch Dur House in Edinburgh. There you are. For all your information on how to check out all the action, of course, along with your entry forms, if you do want to compete, well, go and check them out on the Army School of Music page. There you are. Okay, well, never let it be said that we don't cover bagpiping and drumming internationally. Now, this next news story kind of, lays waste to that. I have to give full credit to China, who have hosted their inaugural professional solo bagpipe championships on Burns Night. Have you managed to see this? The first ever professional solo bagpipe championship was held in a place that I can't pronounce. Okay. Now, I'm going to try it, but please, no laughing. This will no doubt be stuff that Rab got wrong. Okay? This was held in Guangzhou. Is it Guangzhou? Come on, Rab. Stuff that Rab got wrong. I can't pronounce stuff, and I am not doing it on purpose. But it was held in Guangzhou. That's the last time I'm going to try that. But it kind of aptly worked alongside Burns Night celebrations as well. And it drew in pipers from all across the area of the Guangdong era, from Hong Kong into Macau as well. So, drew in pipers even from Shanghai and as far away as Malaysia. Now, I haven't seen any videos from this, which, I'm really quite gutted about. I would have loved to have seen some of the action here from this first ever piping competition, which had a novice grade and an open grade. And, full congratulations to Ronnie Hine, who's from Malaysia, who lifted the open grade title. There you are. So I am very keen to learn more. And I'm so excited to see that this is the first ever solo bagpiping competition in China. But I'm hoping this is the start of many, many more to come. Now, believe it or not, the piping scene in China is really quite vibrant. There is quite a number of pipe bands in China. I'm quite aware of a good number of them actually all focused around in Hong Kong. So if anyone listening right now is from the Chinese piping scene, please do get in contact with us. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. If anything, I think we've featured piping in Shanghai here on the show before. But we'd absolutely love to learn more about the piping scene in China, as small perhaps as it may be, but we definitely want to hear more. So do get in contact with us. bigrabshow@gmail.com. There you are. So I think the bands I'm aware of out there is the Nord Anglia Chinese International School Pipe Band. I think that's one of the ones. Also the Shanghai Youth Pipe Band. That's another one. I think there was another, was it the Hong Kong City? I think. I don't know. Again, this could be stuff that Rab got wrong. But I'm absolutely really wanting to learn more. So if anyone's listening out there, full congratulations on your inaugural competition, but we want to learn more about the Chinese scene. So absolutely, get in contact with us, bigrabshow@gmail.com. But that's exciting, isn't it? Brilliant. Okay, I've got a few more little news stories before I have to head into this week's topic. But I wanted to give a shout out to the Irvine Memorial Pipe Band, who announced it recently that they have a new leading drummer. Yes, Gary Doherty is going to be taking over the back line there at Irvine Memorial. Yes, he's going to be replacing Matthew Cole. Now, no details as to where Matthew is away to, or where maybe he's still in the Corps. Not sure. There hasn't been any confirmation there. But looking forward to seeing Gary and what he's going to bring to the back row there. Absolutely. It's going to be an exciting year in Grade 3A, I would argue. And the Irvine Memorial Pipe Band have absolutely been thumping big tunes this past season, so I'm excited to see them this incoming year. So best wishes to Gary and, of course, to Matthew as well. And all change in the back row at Irvine. That's exciting. Okay, next little news story. It's not really a news story just yet, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. The New Zealand Nationals are just around the corner. All right? Now, should we be getting excited about them this far out? Yes, absolutely you should. Because for those of you who've been following them on their socials, you will have seen a little social media post that talks about the upcoming national championships and why this one's going to be particularly special. This one, I believe, is going to be a record breaker for the New Zealand branch. Yeah, 56 pipe bands are entered for this. Wow, that's going to be a big one. So the event itself is happening on the 20th and 21st of March. You should already have them dates in your diary right there. But yeah, just to remind you, New Zealand Nationals is just around the corner. But this year, it's going to be a big one. Oh boy, is it ever. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. New Zealand Nationals can't come quick enough. I'm looking forward to that. Also, we're starting to see details now for the Metro Cup. Yes, they've announced the dates and where it's happening, all that jazz. And yeah, that won't be long in happening either. If anything, it's the 7th of February. Yes, that's going to be happening in the Irish American Association of Northwest Jersey. Yeah, so that's going to be happening in Wharton in New Jersey, the Metro Cup, which is, of course, an RSPBA World Solo Drumming Qualifier event. So, yeah, we're going to see a lot of our big guns at this, arguably. So if you are interested in the Intercontinental Adult Snare Drumming Championships, or otherwise known as the Metro Cup, well, yeah, go and check it out on their socials. The Metro Cup has been publishing different details about it as to who you should expect to tread the boards. And yeah, this is exciting. So looking forward to the Metro Cup on the 7th of February, just around the corner, actually. There you go. Best of luck, everyone. Okay, I'm going to give some shameless plugs, and I'm going to rally through them. Okay, you guys know I love doing shameless plugs, so let's get into some, shall we? First of all, give a shout out to the Matt Boyd Memorial Pipe Band, who are holding a table quiz night in the Royal Hotel in Cookstown, which is a popular venue for pipe band stuff, isn't it? Kids with Cancer 2026. Anyway, so yeah, Royal Hotel in Cookstown, Saturday the 14th of March is the Matt Boyd Memorial Table Quiz Night. There you are. So if you do want to help raise some funds for the Matt Boyd, there you are. There's your opportunity. It's a $5 per person, and you're pretty much guaranteed a good night's crack there for sure. Yeah. Also, give a mention to the Altneve Memorial Pipe Band, who are throwing a big breakfast. This is happening on the 7th of February in Altneve House. Yes, it's all happening on the 7th of February. So 8:30 in the morning to 11:30, you can head down and get yourself a big fry. There you are. And help raise some funds for the Altneve Memorial Pipe Band. Also, speaking of table quizzes and things like that do seem to be quite popular, that shout out to Tullylagan Pipe Band, who are going to be hosting their own Tullylagan Pipe Band Quiz Night. That's going to be happening on the 21st of February in Cookstown, Royal British Legion. Again, it's a $5 per person. There's a maximum of 6 people per team. Yeah, 6 persons per team is the max. That's an interesting dynamic, that one. But yeah, there you go. 21st of February, Tullylagan Pipe Band doing a spot of fundraising there with a quiz night in the Royal British Legion in Cookstown. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up there with all of the news and updates. It's been quite detailed this week with a lot of ground covered, for sure. Yeah. So, you might have guessed, it's time for me at this point to tick myself off and have a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Gilly Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs.
Marchify, the brand new home of Flam 5 drumming. Check out their brand new Strike bagpipe case, inspired by their colourful, popular and reliable Flam 5 drum cases. The Strike bagpipe case combines durability, style and practicality, protecting every movement. Shop now at marchify.co.uk with worldwide shipping available. Marchify. Every movement protected.
Hi, this is Anna Smart, and you're listening to The Big Rab Show.
Yes, indeed. Time for Topic of the Week. And, yeah, you might have guessed, by the title of this week's episode, we're about to meet Wasatch and District. Now, for a lot of people listening, you all know who Wasatch and District are. They're quite famous in the bagpiping world, and especially in the United States. And they've been doing some real stellar work this last while, especially on social media. So, yeah, when we had the opportunity to catch up with them and feature them in our Meet the Band series, well, yeah, it was a given. It had to happen. So, I invited a good lot of the team to join us on this week's show, and we get into it, find out all about Wasatch and District and what their plans are for the future. So, let's welcome them on to the pod, shall we?
I mean, I guess I go first. So my name is Mikey. I'm responsible for all of the social media that's happening. And we kind of linked up on the emails and figured we just get on this and see what we can do and get some attention and, you know, introduce ourselves. So thanks to you, Rab, and Eric, of course, for setting this all up. So Eric, why don't you go next?
So you know me, I'm Eric Evenhouse, everybody's favorite clown. I am the grade 4 pipe sergeant and longtime friend and first-time caller of the show. I'm just kidding. No, me and Rab go back pretty much almost to the beginning of your podcast. I would almost assume. I was lucky enough to compose the first cool Big Rab Show hornpipe, but then I got destroyed by Lincoln Hilton. So.
Oh no, the hornpipe's still there. It's still quite a challenging tune. Yeah.
Dates for Your Diary always gives me a tear every time I hear it. So,
no, we have had a lot of pipers try it over the years, but as soon as they get to that third part, they're like, I'm going to set this back on the shelf.
Yeah, I made it almost too hard for myself to play, so I understand.
Still a cracking tune, though. There you go. So, who else have we got joining us then? Ross.
Yeah, my name is Ross Morrow. I am the pipe major of the grade 2 band.
Hello, Ross. How you doing?
I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Also, we have another Mike on the call joining us. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, I'm Mike Postma. I'm the leading drummer for the grade 2 band. I also serve as our executive chairman for the whole organization, which encompasses 4 bands. We've got a grade 2, a grade 4, a grade 5, and a juvenile group. So keeping all those aligned requires a pretty big organization. So I try and help keep that running.
I was going to say, like, Wasatch just isn't the grade 2 band that a lot of folks might be familiar with, but you do have quite a large organization. So, yeah, I'll get into that, Mike, with you in a minute or two. There's a lot to talk about there. But also we have Justin joining us as well.
Yes, hi. I'm Justin Howland. I'm the pipe major of the grade 4 band. And as you'll probably start to find out as we talk, many people here have worn many hats over the years. So I've kind of operated in a few different roles over the years as well.
I see. Yeah. So jack of all trades then, Justin. Yeah. In that
case.
Yeah. So Wasatch and District, as I say, might be familiar to a lot of folks because you guys have been competing for a good number of years now. And I've had a good number of successes over the years as well. But can I wind up back to the very beginning? Can someone tell me, first, how did the band all start? What is the origin of Wasatch and District?
I'll take that one maybe, unless one of you guys wants to go at it.
No, go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
So 2004 was when we broke off from another group. They're all different band organizations in the world. The one that we were primarily affixed with was kind of a family band, very family oriented, great family that would run it all. But we kind of wanted something that would be a little more democratic and have a few more voices able to make the decisions. So we broke off and formed in 2004, initially as a grade 4 band, and it really got a lot of momentum for those first few years. And by 2007, we'd gone to Maxville once and had a really successful time in Maxville, and got an upgrade to grade 3 after that point, and formed a grade 4 shortly after, because we were growing in numbers as well, and keep going down the line. And I think it was about 2014 or 2015 when our grade 3 band got upgraded to grade 2, and had to keep adding to the pipeline in order to keep a spot for everybody that wanted to play. So we've now branched into 4 full-fledged groups here.
See, so that does seem to be the story here. I do remember talking about it whenever you guys got first upgraded to grade 3. I was thinking, hey, this is brilliant. No, prizes are coming in, the band's climbing the ranks, and then suddenly, oh, there's not just one, there's 2 now. And then, so success breeds success, Mike, I think in this case, yeah.
It's also very challenging, though, to keep 4 bands competitive, right? And keeping them all balanced. So that is one of the things that is more challenging about our organization, is trying to keep the leadership staffed up in all those groups and trying to make sure that all those bands are getting what they need in order to continue progressing. So as a result, we probably have climbed the hill a little slower than some other groups in order to make sure that we're building up that pyramid below, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, obviously, you know, for a lot of folks who can absolutely skyrocket to the top very, very quickly, you know, the slow burn works as well. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Justin, as pipe major then of the grade 4 outfit, then what would be the focus for you guys then going forward?
I mean, I think the longer I've played, the more it's just fundamentals. Always, even at the higher grades and within the grade 2, it's about executing fundamentals more proficiently and with more consistency. So really, it's just a continuation of solidifying a foundation for everybody to build on, to then be able to just play good music. So,
yeah.
And I should say I've only recently taken over the grade 4. So it's something that we're still, you know, as a leadership team, setting our goals and making sure that they match, as not just within the specific grade 4 band, but that they fall in line with the entire organization.
I see. So should it be congratulations or commiserations on the new role then, Justin?
I don't know. Hard to say. No, it's a good thing for sure. I operated in the role of an instructor over this last summer, and you know, every group I've been involved with within Wasatch and District, there's always been a very good work ethic. So it's always a pleasure to be involved with whichever group.
Fantastic. So continuing to focus on those fundamentals and then potentially pressing up through the grades, then having that ladder system in place. Eric, is that something that you've noticed with players that come through the Wasatch kind of organization, that they start at grassroots and go
kind of Rab? You got to remember where we live in Utah, we're kind of isolated. So like where you're in Northern Ireland, you know, you can get people jumping from band to band to band to band on a whim.
Oh yeah.
And here it's not quite that way. And so for us to be as big as we have become, it's come down to homegrown. I mean, we do have a few travel players that come from out of state, but we've kind of realized that building them at home works better. So the goal is to put everybody where they belong. So we try not to move folks up too quickly. Right. We want them to develop and to kind of go along with what Justin says. Our hope in grade 4 is to really prepare the player to be able to move up if they so choose. They may want to just hang out in grade 4. Of course, we'd love to have another band in grade 3 and just give another headache to Mike. But you know, I mean, everybody wants to succeed and to win. But we've really, this year, especially with Justin now taking over, our philosophy is to focus on being very consistent, our technique being as clean as possible. We're going to go out and play, and all we care about is playing good music, you know, win, lose, or draw. And I think that's a great philosophy to kind of go forward without, you know, whether we start farming folks up from our band or just getting people coming up from the grade 5, for instance. We've had a few people move up, and the goal is to get them to that level of proficiency that they feel confident, you know, that it's not a coin toss when we go to the line. We're gonna do well. We're gonna perform well, and the wins are gonna come if they come. So
there you go. Yeah. So if you play well enough, the prizes will come, and that's secondary.
Yeah, and the work is done at home, right? I mean, you got to work, and the last 2 years, especially the members of grade 4, you can absolutely tell everybody is working their tail off. So I think we're going to have a good season, but overall, we're going to play really good music, and I think that's really what's more important than winning. So
excellent. Yeah. Well, I'm sure Mike and Justin can both tell us a story of when someone comes to practice and say, "Well, did you practice at home?" "Oh, yeah, I did." And you know full well the pipes haven't been out of the box. Yeah, and they're both nodding their heads furiously on the call here. Yeah. But Ross, from a drumming perspective, even for yourself, and even from a piping end of things, the tuition element of it, does it go to the most experienced player, or does it go to the most able player within the Wasatch system? How does the tuition work there?
I think that we value sort of like both sides of that coin. We have a lot of players who are like really old hats, and they're always going to be a really stabilizing sort of force in the circle, even if they're not necessarily the most proficient players. And so I think you need both sides of that coin, you know, like
yeah.
And especially for us is like we're starting to compete in bigger places and, you know, get around more, travel more, do the stuff that, you know, grade 2 band needs to do. We'll definitely need the people who are going to be cool, you know, under pressure and sort of anchor down, you know, all the other players.
And have that level of experience. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. Interesting. So, well, to have that feeder system in place, not many bands have that. So I'm sure it's bound to be a bit of a blessing, I think, Mike, you know, looking at all of the organization, how people can come in from lifting the chanter to the first time and then stepping out in the circle. To have that feeder system there, not a lot of organizations have that.
I mean, that's I think, one of the best things about our group is that, you know, we have folks that show up that, and I'm sure every group sees these folks that just retired and, I've always wanted to learn how to play bagpipes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're starting from square one. Let's have you step into the grade 5 band and get some private lessons and get some basic fundamentals, but learn what it means to be part of a band. I mean, that's really how we treat our grade 5 entity is it's a place to learn how this whole thing works.
I see.
Obviously, as has been alluded to, out in Utah, it's not quite so common knowledge what this competitive pipe band thing is all about. So you really do have to teach people everything about it and what goes into it. And so it does take a little time to be able to warm up to those ideas. So it is really nice to have multi-levels to be able to have the right spot for anybody. And obviously we've got a pretty high ceiling up into the grade 2 that even very proficient, very keen players have a spot that they can go to as well. If they want to meet those expectations and are willing to put in the time at home.
Yeah, definitely. That's no bad thing. Yeah. So, well, I'm glad you've mentioned the geography of the whole thing. You know, and drawing in players is a vitally important part of that. Educating non-piping fans to say, "Hey, look at this cool thing we do." So, and I think a large part of that would be, especially over this last 8 or 9 months, like I've been saying, your work on social media, Michael. I think you're across all of that on the social media front. Is that right?
I am, yeah. So it's been bananas. So I have, you know, how many years? Almost over 20 years of data that I can collect from. So,
wow.
But we obviously want to highlight all of our bands, right? And having everybody participate, like we have, I mean, social media release forms that we got to get signed and, you know, all that jazz. But yeah, no, it's been quite fun. Like I do probably 3 to 4 hours of it a day. I'm a business owner, so it's like I can carve out time whenever I need to. But you know, it's been pretty bananas with all the content and all the people and tracking everything. But no, it's been a lot of fun.
I'm sure, yeah. But it's a great way of reaching out to folks who aren't ordinarily involved in the piping scene. Say,
yeah,
hey,
no.
Look at this cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, one of our videos has 500,000 views.
Really?
And that is, I mean, it's amazing grace. But, you know, like 500,000 views, like, you know, it's kind of wrapping your head about, like, watching 500,000 people in one room. Kind of the way I see it. 1,000 people in one room is big, right? But 500,000, that's large. That's a city.
Kind of scary.
You know,
yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, but all taking that opportunity to watch you guys in action. And I don't know, the mind boggles sometimes. But yeah, do you find that social media is a recruitment tool? You know, people say, "Oh, I want to try that." Next thing, they land down to practice with a set of sticks on them.
We have quite a few people reach out and say, "Hey, I want to learn how to do the drums or the pipes," and I direct them to our general manager, and they kind of takes it over from there. So, yeah.
I see. Interesting. So for folks who are interested in finding more detail about Wasatch, well, there's a lot of it out there. I'll say that. There's a lot of concert stuff. There's a lot of competition stuff. And then just recently, just before I hit the record button, actually, for tonight's pod, I seen a little clip of your medley selection for 2026. Now, it wasn't long. It was just a little 30, 40-second clip of it, but it was enough to wet the whistle. Oh, it's exciting stuff, Mike. So what are you guys working on at the moment? Looking forward to this incoming season.
Well, for the grade 2 band, we're, like I said before, trying to travel a little bit more and get into the big circles. So we're planning on making it out to Chicago, which should be a great games this year.
Excellent.
And then last year we made it to Maxville, and we're planning that one again. So, yeah, we've mentioned it a bunch of times already today, but we're quite isolated, so we tend to get a little nervous in the circle just because we don't get out of the big places as much.
Really?
So we're trying to remedy that. We're trying to remedy that, like under the pressure of the judges and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's our plans for this year.
It's its own animal, isn't it? Whenever you have someone there with a clipboard breathing down your neck, there's no pressure like it. You're like, come on, get an early chanter, I dare you. Yeah.
Well, and frankly, just to keep on that theme for the grade 2 band, in order for us to find grade 2 competition, we've got to either get in the car and drive 12 to 14 hours to play in the Pacific Northwest, or we've got to go somewhere like a Chicago or like a Maxville, because there's nothing within a 12-hour drive of us to give us any competition. So there are lots of isolated groups like that in the world that deal with those same issues, but it means that when we arrive in the contest circle, we've already sacrificed a whole lot of time and some good finances in order to even get there. So a lot of times I know it feels like it weighs a little bit more when we do step off the line there.
Absolutely. Well, you're thinking about all the time and effort around practice and all of that, but also your travel and all of that time. Like, I was chatting recently to someone in Australia, and they were talking about going to band practice, and they had to catch a flight to go to band practice. And I'm like, what? I was complaining about going to practice, and it's a 30-minute drive away. So that shows you the differences, the sheer dedication it takes to be involved at the piping scene in Utah. Yeah. But do you find also, like, being the only grade 2 band in that area, do you find it is a draw for high-level players? They go, well, hey, this band here, I could go and play with them. Do you find that happens?
Yeah, a decent amount. Maybe not quite as much as we'd like. We'd always take on more good players, but there's plenty of other local groups, and we try to be, good neighbors and everything. So, yeah, but it's definitely a draw. We definitely get a good number of players,
See, excellent. So playing your cards close to the chest there, Ross. You're like, I'm not telling you who's playing this season. But for anyone interested, you can go and follow Wasatch and District on their social and, give Michael a shout out. He's doing some great work there for sure. Yeah, so I am very excited to hear what you guys are doing musically. Now, not just the grade 2 guys, but of course the grade 4 band as well have had some real stellar performances. Last season in particular, I've enjoyed some of those runs. If anything, I give you a good shout on the show.
We had a really good season last year.
Yeah.
We're trying to build on that. Kind of talk about our future plans as well. We're going to come to Scotland to the Worlds next year, so we're working on a.
Shut up! Are you?
Yeah, we're coming. We're depending. Oh. We're gonna bring a map set of an MSR that we're working on hardcore right now. But we're also going to probably pull up a quick march medley because we don't know where the RSPBA are going to land us, whether it's 4A or 4B.
Right.
We're not sure when we're going to submit and how that's going to work to be able. So we want to be prepared for both. But right now, I mean, our MSR is sounding the best I think we've ever played, and we just barely opened it up about 3 or 4 months ago, and it's already sounding amazing. So,
excellent.
And that's a lot to do with Justin helping bring out a lot of the stuff with us, especially with our Surspay and our reel, which we haven't had like a whole lot of success, and we just have a really fun march to play. And so when you know how it is, Rab, when you play something that's fun to play, it's just a lot easier to practice, right?
It is.
And so I mean, I don't want to step on Justin's toes, but that's kind of where I feel like we're getting. The music is just high quality, and we're just working on that to get ready. We're gonna do our normal travel this year, but then next year probably scale it down just so we can afford to pay for Scotland. So, but we're gonna try to go about 10 days early so we can compete. I believe it's like the Bridge of Allen. Is that the competition before the Worlds? Yeah. There's talks about maybe doing that before. So.
Well, I'm going to give you another one. That's fantastic news. There you go.
It's gonna be great. We're really looking forward to it. Everybody's kind of bought into it. I'll let Justin talk now. I take all the time. So.
No, that's so good. Yeah, and yeah, listening to recordings is one thing. I've always said this, and you can get an idea of where a band is, but it's not until you see them in person. So I'm so excited to see us next year. That's brilliant. There should be a lot of musical gems, I think, to look forward to from you folks. Yeah. But speaking of musical gems, Ross, tell us what's going on with the Grade 2s. You guys have been working on some quite exciting stuff. That little clip I heard there is definitely wet the whistle. Come on.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm really proud of our medley. It's a lot of fun. You know, we do a cool break from Surspay to jig in it. And we got some original pieces in there from the band, and nice. I like arranging music, so like our closing tune is, like a 6/8 that I arranged as a reel. And you guys will have to, I won't give away the name. You guys can go find it for yourselves and see if you can recognize it. But yeah, anyways, yeah, it's just a lot of fun music. And I think that really helps get everyone's buy-in if they're enjoying it, and I do something similar with MSRs too. I've never really felt pressure to like play the standard MSR tunes that, are all out there. And even though those might, be more fundamental in a lot of ways, if we're playing tunes that we own that, feel like they're ours, then I think in the end we play them better and we enjoy playing them better, which is really the end goal is.
There you go. And in turn, enjoyable for the listener as well. If you guys are enjoying it, then that's half the battle, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, Mike, I think with such a large organization, you're bound to have quite a team of people behind the scenes that make all of this possible. So we were talking about you guys coming to the Worlds next year. I'm sure work on that has already started. Is that right?
Yeah, we try to have a few year plan in place so that we can be looking ahead enough. And obviously, any sort of endeavor like coming overseas is pretty significant. So you got to have a good crew of people that's thinking ahead and knows when we need to plan things and talk about how to fundraise. We have there's about 100 people in our organization all told across the 4 bands. And we try to be as well organized as we can be. You've got the whole logistical top end of it that manages the bylaws and tries to make sure that we know what our goals are and keeps track of where the finances are coming in and going out. Then you have a really big set of musical leaders and that's a very active group, which we have about half of them on the phone here. We're missing a couple of drum sergeants and a couple of pipe majors that aren't on the phone call here with us today. But, it means a lot of coordination. It's hard to find a venue that we can all rehearse in, that you can have 4 bands trying to rehearse on the same night. It can be quite challenging. But yeah, we've got a travel committee that tries to organize travel for us. It really requires a little pitching in from everybody. Luckily, we have incredible members that are engaged. And, you know, I think Mikey Beale is one of the best examples here. He's only been with the band a short time, maybe a year and a half or maybe a little less than that. But the energy that he's come in with, he's got a whole lot of horsepower, and we just got to make sure he's got a rudder on him so he's got a direction, right? But
hey, Rab, hit that yay button for me.
Yep. There you go, yay.
But it's so nice to have somebody like Mikey that comes in, has passion and excitement for this, and you can just give him some minimal directions and say, go make us famous on the interwebs, and he's gone and done exactly that.
There you go. Yeah, well, full credit to all of the organizing team behind the scenes that do make this possible. Full credit to you. And to those who can't join us on the call, hi, you missed a good chat. So, Michael, then, we're going to wrap up with yourself then, mate. For people who do want to get in contact with you folks or check out your socials, what are the main points of contact for Wasatch and District?
So you can always go to the website, which is wdpb.org. And I believe all of our social media links are at the very bottom of the page. If you are on TikTok, which a lot of people are, it's just Wasatch District Pipe Band, I believe. And then obviously Facebook, Instagram. We're not on anything else. I mean, there's YouTube. I'm trying to ramp up more info on YouTube. That's kind of gets like bypassed for some reason, I think, for everyone. But it's a vital one. So yeah, just give us a share, give us a like, hit that bell button. We don't have a Patreon, so
see,
so maybe it's
everything
else
else
in the future that we can do. I mean, $5 a month. I know. I mean, I personally subscribe to the Big Rab Show and contribute. So, yay! But no, it's all of it's there. I would say we're probably more active on Facebook and TikTok.
Right. I see. There you go. So, folks, go and check out Wasatch. And hi, Eric, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for you folks now next year in Scotland.
Oh, man. I owe you a round for sure. We need to go get a beer together, Rab.
Well, hey,
hopefully, we're not competing in the same grade when we go over
that's
there.
That's possible. That could happen.
But we might give you the stink eye in the circle, but then we'll go have to get a beer at the beer tent, right?
Oh, that's that guy over there. Come on, buddy, I'll buy you a beer. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hey, best wishes to everyone there at the Wasatch organization. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us on the show this week. Do appreciate your time. And best of luck this season and the season to come. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Rab.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rab.
Thanks, Rab.
Fantastic. And yeah, I mean that. It was great of them to give up their time and blether away all about the band. It was just brilliant to catch up with all of them. And of course, if you do want to find out more information, as we just mentioned, you can check them out on their socials. But yeah, it's shaping up to be a bright future at Wasatch, isn't it? With a trip to the world's on the cards and also, exciting times. Exciting times. There you are. So folks, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thank you all for downloading this week and each and every week. And as always, don't forget to check out our Patreon, where you can click on support and get your mitts on all of those juicy extras. There's plenty back there. And another little plug. I may as well go and check out thebigrabshow.com and our store. Yeah, our online store where we're selling all sorts of great merch. You can go and check it out. And at the moment, we're offering free shipping. There you go. So go and take advantage of that. That won't last forever. It's just kind of an introductory kind of thing. So, yeah, go and take advantage of it now when you can. All right, folks, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Another one is in the can, and I will catch up with you again on next week's Big Rab Show pod, where we will have another really interesting topic of the week to bring you. Not going to spoil it, but you're going to want to tune in for it. Yeah. Until then, I'll see you all next week. All the best.
Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week, and a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show Podcast. All the best.